And what's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Raw Review podcast that we haven't come up with an official name for yet. I am one half of the magnificent duo, the generic minority, aka the Ayatollah of Anger, and on the other side of the world is the, well, some people would say the Antichrist of the IWC, Chase Oliver 68. Chase?
Antichrist? I never heard that before.
I made it up.
Oh, okay. I'll take it.
Take the Antichrist of the IWC. I was reading a comment that some guy made, who shall remain nameless because I don't want people to, at least your fan base, to be mad at him. And I was just like, wow, he really just comes into Chase's comments all the time and just treats him like he's the bad guy.
Wait, who is this?
Was Simply the Best.
Oh, yeah. No, Simply the Best just, and I have just different opinions. I think he's smart about wrestling. He just has different opinions with me.
I don't think he's not. I don't know whether or not he's smart about wrestling, and I don't think he's like a bad guy or anything. But it's like every time he comes in, he always disagrees with you. I'm like,
he's not the one that always disagrees with me. It's like Ecstasy 69.
Oh, like yeah.
He always disagrees with everything I have to say. Like, it's like he tried to defend TLC, and it was hilarious how he was trying to defend that show. I was like, really? Dog, you must be on that WWE Kool-Aid. And he was trying to tell me that, when it comes to wrestling, it's not always about the money. And then I counteracted, and he had no point. I said, then how come they don't just leave the WWE and go wrestle elsewhere?
Yep.
If it's not all about the money, why don't you just leave? No, it's always about money when you're in business.
It is. The number one point to this is how many guys will job out to Cena when it doesn't make any sense because, well, it's the money. And this is kind of what a lot of those guys, it's the only thing they know. And they can't go and do anything else. So, hey, I mean, take the L, move on, take the money, move on,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I understand it. I, for the longest time, wanted to be a wrestler until reading so many, and watching so many DVDs from wrestlers who aren't with the WWE or left at some point, and they're like, yeah, it just sucks. And I was like, oh, well, I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, I don't care about traveling the world. I don't have, super tight family connects, but, yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, so Monday Night Raw. It was the last Raw of the year, so they wanted to go out with a bang. We're gonna start from the top. So Monday Night Raw was up. Edge and Christian, of course, they were announced last week. They came out and did their basic Edge and Christian shtick. It wasn't bad, wasn't great. It was just it was one of those nostalgic trips that they've been unfortunately doing so often that it wasn't as nostalgic as I wanted it to be. Because unlike you, I actually like Edge. I know you don't hate him, but you just aren't his fan. But still,
no, I truly hate Edge.
Do you really?
Yes, I don't like him at all. I think he causes a lot more problems than he does solutions for the WWE when it comes down to his character.
Mm-hmm.
His character never really does shit for me. I just never really bought into him, and he had two more reasons why I hate him more than my own long list of reasons why I hate Edge. There's two more reasons now added to that list, and we will get into those later. But I didn't really care about Edge or Christian cutting their promo. It was cool that they announced matches for tonight, but they should have just ended it there. Instead, they went on to do more stupid stuff as they normally do.
Yeah, that's just Edge and Christian. I don't know. I was always partial to Edge and Christian, but I think that's because growing up, I was a huge tag team wrestling fan.
I'm a Christian fan. I like Christian.
Yeah, I really do like Christian. I would hope more they had done more things with his character, and I hope his career really isn't over like what they were talking about.
I think it is. I mean, what else can Christian offer for you?
True. I mean, I just hope it's not over in the sense of how Edge's is, where he just physically can't wrestle. I'm hoping that he at least can still come back and maybe have one or two more matches against a guy. You'd be like, man, I mean, maybe Chris Jericho or something like that. Some for a nostalgic trip down the road. But we'll see what happens. But Edge and Christian come out, they do their bit. I'm getting crazy feedback. And they announce Seth Rollins versus Cockfist and Dolph versus Rusev, but they get interrupted by our reigning, defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar and his Jewish advocate Paul Heyman, and they get interrupted by Cena, and I stop caring.
This was just such a waste for Brock Lesnar overall. I mean, you could have done this another time. This is really, besides coming out at the end and this segment, Brock Lesnar literally got paid just to stand there and do nothing. I mean, if you're going to do something with Cena and Lesnar, you have to make it feel big and important every single time. This was just a waste of time, man. It really was. But I will say it was like when, Cena did come out, I was kind of interested because it's like, oh shit, it's Cena and Lesnar. This is your Royal Rumble quote-unquote main event that's not the Rumble match. So this should be, like a big deal that Cena's coming out to face Lesnar. And I was kind of getting hyped. I was saying to myself, man, that's actually really entertaining. And it just led to talking and doing nothing between both men. It's like, I get it, you don't want them to touch, but the last time Cena was in the ring with Lesnar, like, Lesnar kicked his ass. Lesnar just literally, like, freaking F5'd them, cost them a match against Seth Rollins. If I'm John Cena, I'm going out there and I'm saying, you know what, I want to beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar. Like, but instead he was like, oh, I don't want to beat you up because I don't want you to have any excuses, so I'm going to beat up Paul Heyman. Like, how does that make John Cena look like a good guy? He wants to beat up a fat dude that can't even wrestle. Like, get the hell out of here. Like, that's just dumb.
It makes John Cena the biggest hero ever because everyone knows it's super cool to beat up fat people. Don't quote me on that, please. There's going to be some guy that saves that and it's like, yo, I heard on the internet it's cool to beat up fat people. No, but it was a wasted segment, especially because this is, the last Raw of the year, and you have your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, a guy everyone's complaining about they're not seeing enough of, and you have him for the last Raw, the go home year-end show, and he does nothing. He did nothing. Brock Lesnar did absolutely nothing tonight. Except exist. And that's not good enough. Yeah. That's not good enough for him being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I get he's an attraction, quote unquote, and he doesn't like to be out on the road. But I cannot, as a wrestling fan, accept him being my champion and going into feuding with John Cena and doing nothing. Like, when he comes back, he needs to do things. Last week he did something. Tonight was the end of the year. Every year at the end of the year, they have something, and this time for the champion, they had nothing. And you have someone that you can do something with. It's Brock Lesnar. It's not like you couldn't have him come out and do something. You just chose not to because you were confused and tongue-tied and didn't want him to touch Cena because you don't want to ruin the match that no one really cares about. I really don't care about Cena versus Brock Lesnar, especially now that he's done nothing.
Yeah. Like I said, I was getting hyped up to when Cena was coming out there, but it just led to nothing. It was just like, this opening segment, they should have just ended it with Edge and Christian. That was it. They should have just been like, oh, Edge and Christian are here. Aren't you excited, Michael? And stuff like that. Have the commentators be idiots and then lead us on to the show. And maybe use Cena and Lesnar as a segment later on tonight. But instead, like, they try to force two things into one, and it just didn't turn out well, in my opinion.
Even if, Brock came out at the end of the night during the final segment, it would have been more useful than him coming out. Like, if he didn't come out in the beginning and only came out at the end, it would have been a lot more, and the same things happened, but with all the people who were part of the end of the show, it still would have been better than him just coming out in the beginning doing nothing, and then showing up at the end and standing.
Yeah, exactly. Or have it where he's the one threatening Cena. Like you said, like, pretty much have him do that one. Do that instead of Seth Rollins. But, yeah, that would just make too much sense sometimes, man.
I forgot we use logic around here.
Yeah, we do. Too much logic for WWE sometimes.
Jeez.
So what else? What else should we talk about?
We got the Dolph vs. Rusev, which was announced. I didn't realize it was going to be immediate, but we did get the immediate Ziggler versus Rusev. Lana wasn't looking as pregnant as she's been looking the past 2 weeks. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it was the type of material she was wearing, but that's beside the point. All I know is this match even furthermore solidified what we said 2 weeks ago about them not caring about Dolph Ziggler. In my opinion, that's just because they're only using Dolph Ziggler to ride the wave of people liking him, like they do every time Dolph Ziggler gets a wave of people cheering for him, and they use him to maybe sell a little merch and use his fanfare to put guys over with some heat by beating up Dolph Ziggler, the 5-minute fan favorite. So that
it literally was just a waste of time, and it didn't help either champion.
Yeah.
Just being honest, it didn't help any champion, either of the champions in this match. I hate champion versus champion matches because they never have a definitive winner of these matches. They always just make it where it's like, oh, we got to protect everyone in this match. Like, no, you don't. You can have it where one champion looks dominant than the other, especially Ziggler and Rusev both are trying to climb up the ladder. it's like you kept both at a standstill on that ladder. Like Rusev is this dominating force. He should beat Ziggler. There should be no reason why, pretty much Rusev can't beat Ziggler. Why does Rusev have to get disqualified like a moron to beat up this dude? He shouldn't. Like, you're not helping either guy in this situation. That's just dumb.
The funny thing is that like that way that they're ending it is supposed to be the way to make Rusev look so strong, but it doesn't. It doesn't help anyone. It just leaves him at a neutral point because he lost, which is what casual fans will see, and more hardcore fans are just going to see as a waste of time. So it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't make Ziggler still looks weak, and Rusev doesn't look any stronger. He just looks the same. So that was a waste of time, and once again, it just sucks to see Ziggler in the spot where he's at, and it sucks now to see Rusev added to this spot of not necessarily not caring, but getting mixed in with this whole neutrality of Dolph Ziggler. But Rusev got the DQ loss. I say Rusev got the DQ loss because it wasn't a win for Dolph in any way, shape, or form. The only thing that happened was Rusev lost. Dolph Ziggler didn't win. And Ryback came in for the hella late save, like super late. Dolph Ziggler was already beat down. Then that's when Ryback comes out. But that followed with what I wasn't expecting, which was Ryback's life story. That was a thing that happened. It was decent. I know you have a varying opinion on this. So I actually want to hear yours first.
My problem with it was that I'm good that Ryback got a promo. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good that the big guys getting microphone time, and his promo wasn't bad. I wasn't a fan of it because it's like Ryback shouldn't be a character. I should be feeling sorry for it. The dude's like 6'3", 350 pounds. He's built like a Mack truck. Why should I be feeling sorry for this dude? I know this guy will have many opportunities in the WWE as long as he keeps his head on straight. This guy is what the WWE wants. I shouldn't be feeling sorry for Ryback. Ryback should be a guy I idolize to beat because in professional wrestling, there's not a lot of guys on the roster you would idolize to beat. Back in the old days, you would idolize to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin, dude drinking beer every single night, kicking his boss's ass. You would idolize to be like Razor Ramon, throwing the toothpick at people and whatnot. Yep. You would idolize to be like Hulk Hogan. Nowadays, it's like you don't idolize to be John Cena. You idolize to be Randy Orton, maybe for like the sleeve tattoos. Mm-hmm. You really want to idolize to be like Daniel Bryan? I mean, let's be real here, folks. Like, you're idolizing to be like Daniel Bryan, minus, fucking his wife. There's no reason why you should be idolizing to be like a bearded man.
Yeah.
So, like, Ryback should be like the type of dude where we look at him and we're like, you know what? I want to be like Ryback. Ryback's like an inspiration to be. Some dude that can kick ass at any time, anywhere. He ain't afraid of no one. He doesn't take any BS. But instead, they made Ryback like, believe in me, sympathy. It's like, I don't want to feel sorry for this guy. This guy's a badass. I shouldn't be feeling sorry for a badass.
Yeah, I see your point of view of it, but my thing was, I think what you just said is the whole look up to Ryback is exactly what they were trying to do. They just didn't go about it the right way, and that's all that was to me. I mean, I thought it was decent. I think there was also more of a thing to explain possibly like Ryback's Twitter activity and him kind of being like a jerk online. People comment on his career because he's like, I couldn't have been here at one point. So for you guys to just rag on me, I'm just happy to be here. Why you guys got to be negative? I think that was just kind of what that was. So, I mean, I don't know. That the promo in and of itself was fine, and it gave us a little bit. I didn't even remember that whole bit back in 2004 Ryback. So it was still mildly interesting. Apparently the Iron Sheik freaking hated it. He lost his mind over the internet. That was hilarious. So, I mean, nobody tops the Iron Sheik. So, that's that. Next we get, as soon as I can scroll down. Oh, Jesus Christ. So we go from a semi-uplifting moment to, in my personal opinion, a depressing moment with the Bellas coming out. And that's only just because I saw the Bellas and I don't like them.
Do we really need to talk about this? All it was like Tyson Kidd and Natalya feud development. This was a waste of time.
Yep. Yeah, that Tyson Kidd's still interesting, and then his thing going on with Natty is actually relatively interesting. I'm still not going to watch Total Divas, but whatever's going on wrestling with those two, I'm interested in that. But my only thing is I wish the angle wasn't involving the Bellas. Maybe Maybe Charlotte, because she did have a match with her. I don't know. I don't know who they put, but if they're gonna do this, I mean, or they could just like interchange a diva every week for like Tyson Kidd being a huge backstage scumbag, and then like Summer Rae and Layla, get some of the other divas to have something to do instead of just existing. And that's that. Moving on. This one's gonna be short. Next we get.
It's like some stuff like we don't really need to talk about like in full detail. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff we can just gloss over and skip all entirely.
I'd skip anything that involves the Bellas anytime it's completely possible. So after the Bellas bit, Natty won the Natty lost a match, by the way, but and that sucks too because I don't want to watch Natty Neidhart lose. Next we got the Miz. And there was a backstage segment with the Miz and Naomi where she thanked them, which was basically the kiss of death for the Miz and Mizdow tag team. That was followed up later by the curb stomp.
Can we group this segment into the other segment that happened with Miz and Mizdow?
Yes, that's what I was gonna roll it in. Naomi came and gave Miz the hug of death backstage after thanking him for hooking him up with her agent, and they went out. And they had a tag team title match against the Usos. It was an okay match. The crowd super overhyped it, but the Miz and Mizdow both did their jobs. And the Usos are gonna do what they're gonna do, which is get stomped by the Ascension eventually.
Yeah, I actually like this. It wasn't an awesome match, but it was a good match between these two.
Yeah,
I thought it saved off. How can I say it? I'm trying to get the words out correctly. It really made you excited to see the rematch because it was kind of like the way they set it up was that Sandow had a chance to win, but Sandow failed at the end of the day, and he kind of left Miz high and dry, and thus the Miz got like super kicked to death. Followed by the Samoan splash to get pinned 1, 2, 3. It was kind of like, oh my god, this is good booking. This is good setup to start setting up the Miz and Mizdow feud. And you finally get the tag team titles back on the Usos, and they're a real team in the WWE. And thus you kind of make the people kind of care about the Usos again because the Usos, pretty much in the middle of their tag team reigns, they were just in limbo. They were just kind of like out there putting on good matches, but that was just about it. They didn't really have any character or substance to them. Here comes the Miz, heading on Naomi. So you accomplished a lot of things with this, but then I felt like you threw it away by having your hottest act job out to the Ascension.
Yeah. So
how stupid is that? And not only that, the Ascension, when they came out, they had the same reaction Tito Ortiz had. Tito Ortiz would be proud of that reaction. Tito Ortiz is crossing his arms right now as we speak. Like nodding his head saying, yeah, that was a great freaking... Oh, that was terrible.
Man, the Ascension, I don't know what to say about the Ascension. I like their ring attires. I like the black and red and the overall look of it. I don't know. There's not really... I don't have any much to say about them because I never watched them in NXT. But they got the same reaction. They got the Tito Ortiz. They got the Curtis Axel, like, oh, okay, yeah, reaction. That's what they got. They got the roar of silence reaction. I don't know how to put it. And it's up to especially because Mizdow took the pin in that one. And it's like, if you could have compacted it even more, story-wise, if once again twice in the same night Mizdow's kind of shtick cost the Miz, but they didn't do that. Instead they just had the Ascension win, and I don't know what they're gonna do with them. More than likely just feed the Usos to them, which kind of sucks, but because I actually care about the Usos now as opposed to just being like, oh yeah, they exist. But yeah, but at least for now, the Usos are something to be cared about. Hopefully, they can just carry this momentum for a little while before, and hopefully, the Ascension doesn't take the Adam Rose route to me not caring. Thank God he wasn't on the show tonight. So that the Usos won the tag titles. That was followed up by Cesaro. Oh yeah, this thing with Cesaro that irritated me. Cesaro comes out. He's sitting in the corner, and the corner of the ring, and he starts to cut a little promo about how he, people say he doesn't connect, but he comes out and connects in the ring. And he botches a little. He'll wind up on Botchamania, the next one in his lines. He says he comes through the 4 ropes when he meant 4 corners. But hey, he doesn't speak the English. He speaks every other language but the English. Only to come out to be squashed by, I don't understand why people were cheering for him, because I know he's still a heel, Bad News Barrett.
This was a waste of time too. Like, it was kind of like, Cesaro, he comes out here and cuts a promo and you say, oh man, this would be a great way to get Cesaro over. But instead you have it where, instead of doing that, you just have it where Cesaro just looks like an idiot and he gets squashed by Bad News Barrett, who, let's face it, we all know is like, how I should say, we all know that like this guy always reaches a certain, level, but then all of a sudden just falls off and does nothing.
Yeah, he's healed Dolph Ziggler basically. Like he reaches a peak and then for some reason just falls back down. And ironically enough, his peak is also always the IC title. So yeah, that sucks. Anyone who knows anything about me in terms of what I like in wrestling, I loved the Kings of Wrestling, so it super sucks to see Cesaro like this. And it hella sucked a couple weeks ago when you showed me those pictures of Chris Hero being all fat. God damn it.
Yeah, I told you, man. You didn't believe me.
I didn't want to believe you, though. My hopes and dreams were getting dashed.
Yeah, that's what I do sometimes. I just hope people's dash dreams and shit.
Oh, yeah, and then you question why I call you the Antichrist of the IWC earlier in the show. Yeah. Oh, I don't know why that happened. I just totally went and crushed Generic Minority's dreams about one of his favorite wrestlers. God. But anyway, Kings of Wrestling are super dead. Hopefully Chris Hero loses weight and maybe Cesaro goes back to the indies so I can start watching him again, doing something decent. But anyway, Bad News Barrett's back. I knew about that last week, and I didn't care last week. What do we get next? We got Swagger versus Luke Harper. Harper won. Moving on. And after that, we got Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, a match that was announced earlier in the night. Good match.
This was a good match.
Yeah.
These two went out here and actually had a really good match, and it shows like the future of the WWE when it comes to title matches go. I mean, shoot, man, we're gonna get some good matches.
Well, from what it looks like, we're gonna get good title matches. We don't know what the WWE is gonna do to these guys down the line, but as it stands now, we might have a handful of good title matches in the future. But I already knew how this match was going to end all janky-like because the Big Show came out right after Roman Reigns came out. God. The fact that he still wrestles and Edge and Christian don't. Oof. Or at least Christian. But anyway, so the match was good. But of course it ended. Roman Reigns hits the Superman punch, is about to go for the Uwa Shock Spear. And Big Show comes in and grabs him, pulls him out of the ring, tosses him over the announce table, and dumps the announce table on him. And Michael Cole oversells the hell out of that, like he does everything.
Didn't he say like, "Oh, he needs to get the jaws of life just to get out"? He said something weird. I was like, "What?" He just threw a table on him.
He was
like, he doesn't need no jaws of life. Like, he's fine. This is ridiculous. What Michael Cole was saying. I was like, "Oh my god!" But Big Show was really annoying on commentary. I'll say that because like he was just like, he sounded like a lot of the majority of the IWC who just hates Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it just came off like super bad. Like, I think they literally told him, hey, go out there and act like the idiots on the internet. That's like what he really did. And most of us IWC members, yeah, we don't like the cock fist. I like cock fist. He's one of my favorites. But,
I'm lukewarm to him.
But it's like really, why would you do that for one of your stars in Roman Reigns, where you're just trying to tear him down on the microphone and try to make Seth Rollins look good? I mean, Seth Rollins is the heel in this situation. I get Big Show's playing heel, but he can talk about why Seth Rollins is good, but not every single minute. It just seemed like every single minute he was just out there to tear down Roman Reigns. And pretty much what the segment did was just show you, like, hey, this is the final two. It's going to be Big Show and Cockfist. at the end of the Royal Rumble, and then Cockfist is going to make it rain in Show's face as he freaking Superman punches him out of the Rumble. That's what's going to happen at the end. They want to show that Cockfist is a legit strong guy. He's a big threat. They're going to have Cockfist knock the living crap out of the Big Show and send him over the ropes. I
wanted to do a list of the. I remember seeing for the first time on Tubby Emu's channel, who I'm not a huge fan of, but I think he's okay. The crazy predictions as the pay-per-view comes up, and I was gonna make some crazy predictions for Royal Rumble, especially after the announcement that came out later. And I had the one. I jokingly told this to one of my friends. I was like, when Roman Reigns said he was, was going to be in the Royal Rumble, I jokingly told him after the announcement that came later, I was like, watch Roman Reigns not win, and it's actually like the surprise 30th entry that comes after Mr. 29, who just announced himself tonight, is actually Hulk Hogan, because he's been training, and he wins.
Hulk Hogan. I don't think any fans would be pissed off at that. Hulk Hogan getting his revenge on Brock Lesnar, brother.
Yeah, that actually was pretty interesting. But I jokingly told him last week, though, when it was just Roman Reigns, I was like, secretly, The Undertaker is actually number 30. He's going to win. And then we'll have Brock versus Undertaker again. Seth can cash in on Taker. But what do we have next? Michael Cole is overblowing anything. We didn't get to talk about it last week because we were both busy. But Michael Cole was really pushing that, like, Seth Rollins was in bed, or like a co-conspirator with Paul Heyman, and that was really irritating, like, to hear, because like he had like 2 conversations with Paul Heyman, and all of a sudden he's in cahoots with him. It's like they clearly have one has one objective and one has another, and they just happen to hit a crossroads. They're not in cahoots together. Michael Cole, shut your mouth. God, I miss Jim Ross. I miss everyone but Michael Cole. Like anyone else that was on commentary. I even miss, what's that dude who called Jeff Hardy Jeff Harvey?
Mike Adamle?
There we go, Mike Adamle. I was going to say Mike Adelaide. I miss that guy over Michael Cole. Jeez. Those 2 race car drivers who called...
Mike Adamle was bad. He said like Kofi Kingston's Jamaican him crazy. I was all like, like, that was terrible. And, like, I get it. I get a lot of wrestling fans don't like Cole, but keep in mind, dude, it's not like he has a good supporting cast around him. I mean, he has Jerry the King Lawler that's more interested in, like, thinking of what high school girls he's gonna knock up in the town they're in.
Whoa, wait.
What? That's Jerry Lawler's MO. He loves high school chicks.
I did not know about that.
Well, you didn't? What? How? How are you a wrestling fan on the internet and not know, like, Jerry Lawler is all about high school chicks?
See, you're sorely mistaken. I'm a wrestling fan who happens to be on the internet, not a wrestling fan who's on the... Like, both those 2 things are separate, and then they sometimes come together on Monday nights when I join you to tell me some craziness that I don't know about.
Yeah, Jerry Lawler, freaking, he was pissed off when Paige turned of age of 18. Like, that's when he stopped, like, caring what Paige looked like. Like, most of us in the IWC, I'm not one of them. I'm not really the biggest Paige fan when it comes to looks. Definitely in the ring. Paige is one of my favorite divas when it comes to the ring. But the looks wise, yeah, she like, I definitely would bang her, but she ain't like my crush. Like, you know what I'm saying? All these, like, guys like have like the crush on Paige and shit like that. Like, for me, it's just kind of like, she alright, like, that type of deal. She's like, alright, for sure. Like, my diva crush is Nikki Bella. I would freaking ram the shit out of her. Or Sasha Banks, I would ram her.
Oh man, I actually was recently looking at Sasha. I was like, what's Chase's fascination with Sasha? Oh,
like, yeah, dude, Sasha Banks is hot.
Sasha Banks is good.
I think she's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think she's really.
My thing is, I knew you like Nikki Bella, but I'm one of those guys that crushes on Paige only because I always like skinny, pale chicks with jet black hair because it completely contrasts my big minorityness. So, like, that's always just funny to me when people like an ex of mine. She was like a skinny, pale, like jet black hair, bright blue eyes, and everyone just looked at us like crazy. And there was this old lady who used to get on our bus and just like she was super Christian, and she would just always stare at us on the way to school. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah. See, like, I can understand why people like Paige. I'm not saying she's ugly.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't get why people like AJ Lee as much as they do. When it comes down to it, because like AJ Lee just looks like she's like
12.
She does look like she's in middle school. Where, like, she has her moments where it's like, oh yeah, she looks good, but I don't think she's like the hottest scene since Slice of Bread. But yeah, like, like I was saying, Jerry Lawler, like he likes high school girls, man. That's like his MO.
Oh, man.
Like he loves the high school chicks and stuff.
Oh, I didn't.
So he likes teenage girls. Like he went to corporate and stuff. So
that dude's
yeah.
like.
So Michael Cole has to deal with Jerry Lawler, and then he has to deal with JBL, who's just an idiot overall. Like JBL isn't smart. Like JBL isn't smart, man. Like he's a funny guy. Like I bet you, like drinking beers with JBL is probably a great time. But when it comes down to just overall, like you want something smart to be said on TV, JBL ain't gonna do that for you. He's an idiot. Like Michael Cole, he's had some really great moments. Like people like to forget some of the good of Michael Cole. Like when Eddie Guerrero won the title, he did a great job with that call. Like, you know, he's had many good calls. So I just hate it when wrestling fans are really, really hard on Michael Cole because like he is bad. Like I'm not trying to say he's like one of the top 5 wrestling announcers of all time, but I'm just saying like he's not as bad as people make him out to be. Like when you say Mike Adamle over him, I'm like, come on, dog, really? You want Jamaican me crazy over Omar?
Listen,
dude, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous to me because like Michael Cole ain't that bad.
No, Michael Cole's not.
Like I would be if I were in the WWE, I'd probably have to do Michael Cole's work too because Vince McMahon will probably be all like, "I'm gonna shove my cock in your ear if you don't plug the fucking network." So yeah, I don't blame Michael Cole for sometimes.
True. My bias comes from 2 things. 3 things actually. 1, I really like JBL. Like he's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. I totally idolize JBL as a heel, big guy. And 2, I know they just tell him to be a bad guy and just feed him the stupid things he's supposed to say.
This is not JBL being a bad guy. This is JBL being himself.
Oh, jeez. Well, maybe you're right. You don't think, once again, I'm being, like I said before, I'm biased because I like JBL. And 3, another thing is, I despised that whole Michael Cole heel announcer bit. Like, it was some of the...
That was bad.
And I've just never gotten over it. And I'll never get over him coining the phrase twin magic. It irritates me. But yeah, my bias, it's just I'm biased. That's all. Michael Cole's not that bad. And actually, like I think it was last week, he called like a Michinoku driver, and I was like, I didn't know he knew what that was. I completely forgot through my blind hatred.
Yeah. Vince that doesn't want them to announce the moves. Like Vince is the guy that's like, oh no, you don't announce the moves.
Yeah. Only announce moves are the top guy. You know, the Superman punch.
On a side note, how do you spell yippee? Oh, never mind. I spelled yippee correctly. Never mind.
That's
the title of my Raw review. It's like the authority is back. Yippee.
Oh, jeez. Yippee-ki-yay. What? I cannot see my freaking scroll bar. Okay. So yeah, we had Michael Cole. He blew up the whole like announce table falling on Roman Reigns' legs. That was the whole bit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what we got into. Like he was just talking about. We talked about a lot of stuff like in that one segment. Like we went from like talking about how Cole has shitty supporting cast, which divas we would smash, to like back to why JBL's an idiot. Back to that. That's what you get with this podcast, people. You don't just get regular like, hey, let's just talk about what went on in Raw. We will talk. We can talk about other stuff in wrestling too.
We usually want to, especially when we skip stuff. We want to talk about something ridiculous. Speaking of divas, I used to be in love with Mickie James. Anyway.
Oh yeah, Mickie James. She was like #1 for the longest time, man. That ass, dude.
Yes. You hit the nail right on the head. I'd love to hit the nail right on her head. Anyway.
The Temple of Thickness, man. It was just it was beautiful, dude. She was all, and she was nice too. Like when I met her before, she was really nice. She was like really cool, really laid back type of deal. So,
man, I wish.
It's not. Hey man, Magnus is one lucky dude. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, he's lucky too, because he's the guy who shot up her club. Too bad for Kenny Dykstra, right?
Hey man, if it wasn't for John Cena, they would still be in love. Damn it.
Yeah, I know. That's another one of the reasons why I don't like John Cena. I don't know, because I like Kenny Dykstra. I was partial to Kenny Dykstra. I didn't have a problem with him leaving.
I thought he was all right.
I thought he was. I thought we just never got a chance to see what he could really do. Like, I mean, if he could ever got any better. So, and that was partially due to Cena. So that just kind of it was like that was the first incident I saw of I saw myself of Cena kind of ruining the potential for someone to be something, and in a sense gone hot instead of going downhill, it's gone uphill. So next we got Jesus Christ, I am getting irritated with this. Wyatt versus Ambrose in a ambulance match is announced for next week.
Dude, Wyatt and Ambrose is like both like the hardcore title, man. man. This is like a hardcore title feud.
No, it's not. There's no hardcore title. WWE's not hardcore anymore. They're just...
No, but this is like booked like if the hardcore title was around. It'd be a hardcore title.
Jeez. I wish they could add the hardcore title and it would make me feel a lot better about this feud because it just seems unnecessary now.
They should. They might as well should. I mean, so all this is like I don't know what they're doing. Like honestly, why an ambulance match? Like, are they just really like desperate to get ratings? Because it's like Ambrose and Wyatt, like they just shown that these two can only work gimmick matches. Has Dean Ambrose worked a normal match on pay-per-view? I don't think so. I don't think he's worked one normal match. He's worked a lumberjack match. He's worked freaking pretty much what's it called Hell in a Cell, and then afterwards he's worked the TLC match, and I guess him versus Bray Wyatt was a normal match. So
yeah, the first one was a normal match. That was it. But he hasn't worked. I mean, he hasn't worked a non-gimmick match since the end of the Shield. Really, I mean, like everything has still kind of got some kind of attachment to it. He hasn't done just a match where he goes in the ring and just has a normal match. So I guess Dean Ambrose is gonna be who am I trying to think of? Who's the hardcore guy? Like Raven or whatever, mixed with a little bit of Brian Pillman. They're just gonna have him in hardcore gimmick matches. He's like young Necro Butcher, I guess. Just constantly in a gimmick hardcore match, quote unquote. I'm not really interested in their. I'm just not interested in their feud anymore. Like I like these two guys. I want them to be something, but not with each other. Just steer them away. If WWE was gonna really try to hit me with something ridiculous, even though it wouldn't work now because we have the Usos being tag team champions, they just stick Ambrose and Wyatt into a tag team like how they've done in the past with like two enemies and have them be the champion and just like hate each other at the course of the championship and then just lose to some other up and coming team. But WWE's not smart. They don't plan ahead. I seriously believe they just make these matches and go, hey, Ambrose, Wyatt, you guys got a match next week. I guess it could be like what's a stipulation you guys haven't done yet? And one of them was like ambulance match. Yeah, that'll be it. You guys figure that out.
Yeah, you guys go out there, kill yourself.
Yeah, just go out there and kill each other. Ambrose, make sure you do the whole chair off the top rope thing that doesn't really look as effective when you think about it, and if you try to put any logic to it, doesn't really work as injured Bray, but just do it anyway because people love elbow drops that you do and chair drops and whatever. Just kill each other, just let Bray break your neck with a chair and then you just show up next week like it's nothing. Just let that happen.
Trick games are not serious whatsoever, man.
Just God, that whole chair to the neck thing really killed it for us. Oh, we're done. So after that we got I really wasn't paying attention when I wrote this. But next we got Daniel Bryan comes out to announce his retirement and to join the UFC to fight the Red Ranger.
Oh no, that wasn't what we got, but whatever.
That was totally what we got. That might as well have been what we got because it's something that's going to make the IWC that isn't you and I explode. Which is really Daniel Bryan coming out doing a little inspirational speech and announcing himself for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, this was one of his best promos ever because I knew it was a swerve from like the beginning because it's like, come on, really? You're not gonna have it where Daniel Bryan's gonna retire. I mean, you're having Edge come back. It's the end of the year. Are you really gonna end our year like that? Like I figured they weren't going to have Daniel Bryan come out and say he was going to retire. I mean, the dude, like, he had a neck injury, but it doesn't seem like it was, like, that super serious of a neck injury. It just kind of seemed like, kind of like Kurt Angle's neck injury that he had in 2003.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, hey, let's just scope it a couple times, and then you'll be back whenever your arm strength is back. And it seems like he looked fine when he came out that one Raw. It didn't look like he was slow whatsoever, walking and stuff. So I knew that he was going to come back eventually. I just didn't know when. So I knew it was going to be that he was going to announce that he was going to return soon. But I wanted to see if Daniel Bryan would be able to swerve me and be able to like kind of tell me like that he wasn't and that he was going to retire. Mm-hmm. And he did a fine damn good job. Now it's not on Mark Henry level because that was just epic. Yeah. But it was probably his best promo he's ever cut because like he had me sold. I actually thought he was going to retire right then and there. I was like, shit, dude, he's going to retire. I literally thought he was going to retire. I was like, oh man, that sucks. I'm not the biggest Daniel Bryan fan in the world. Like, I'm someone that, yeah, I think he's good, but I'm not like, oh, I love Daniel Bryan. I need to see Daniel Bryan every 5 minutes. Okay, like he's enjoyable to watch, but it's not like he's my cup of tea. Okay, like I like more wrestling. Yeah, how about that? So when it comes down to it, I was happy to see that Daniel Bryan was able to cut a really good promo that kind of had me on the edge of my seat, wondering what the hell he was going to do. And then him announcing he was back to the Rumble. So it was good shit from Daniel Bryan. Good stuff.
Yeah, it was good promo. I would have preferred Daniel Bryan just to show up, but I think for what he did in the ring, if more than enough makes up for it. Especially because I was like, granted, I'm not like the hugest Daniel Bryan fan. I'm more of a Bryan Danielson fan. And I liked him way more on the Indies. I don't really like his character in WWE that much. Simply because he's not allowed to kick people as hard as he used to. But it was good. And he got announced for the Rumble, but I knew immediately, like, people kind of closed-minded internet wrestling fans were going to be like, oh, you know, they're going to lose it when Roman Reigns wins. You know, this isn't a question of whether or not he is. He's going to win. And if he doesn't win, then it's just like, what do you do with Roman Reigns not winning, you know? So we'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what feud's gonna spawn with Daniel Bryan. I don't know who he's gonna feud with coming into Mania.
I say Seth Rollins, man.
Seth
Rollins. I made a
Rollins?
video on that. You need to. We can talk about this a little bit more because I don't really want to go into full detail on why Daniel Bryan doesn't need to win the Royal Rumble. And also, I'm having a new video series on my channel who should win the Royal Rumble of 2015. So it's pretty much going to be me documenting a lot of the favorites, kind of make their own separate videos, giving the pros and cons on why they should and shouldn't win the Royal Rumble. And I'm starting with my boy Cockfist tomorrow. And then I probably will be doing Daniel Bryan on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on when I can film that video. But yeah, pretty much that's what I'm going to be doing for my channel. So I don't really want to get too much into it. But he should be really, like, you shouldn't be really putting your eggs in the basket of expecting Bryan and Lesnar. Look, like, I get it, a lot of us like Daniel Bryan, and a lot of us want to see him win the title game, but it's just like, come on, man. Like, he had his moment at WrestleMania. It's time to use his star power and help someone else. Yeah. Have him help Seth Rollins. Because, you know, some people, you're just right now caught onto the hype that Daniel Bryan's going to win. And you're caught onto the hype that Daniel Bryan's going to WrestleMania. But think about the star level of Seth Rollins. Think about everyone else besides Daniel Bryan for just 5 minutes. If Daniel Bryan goes on to face Brock Lesnar, what the hell is Roman Reigns going to do? What the hell is Seth Rollins going to do? Seriously, what are these idiots going to do? If they face each other, that's not helping them at all. If anything, that's just stupid. You have to have this WrestleMania be about more than just, oh, we want Bryan versus Lesnar. No, fuck that shit. The Shield guys need to be built into new stars. Bray Wyatt needs to be built into a new star. Ryback needs to be built to a new star. This WrestleMania should be finally about the time where you guys say, hey, we're the WWE. We have all these fucking good talents. Let's fucking make them into stars.
Yep. I agree 110%.
Like, I get it. Like, a lot of people want Daniel Bryan to face Lesnar, but if you're listening to this and you listen to future videos that I'll make that will clearly define talking about this, just understand, it's not a bad thing for Daniel Bryan to face Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. It's a good thing.
It is. It's good for both of them. The only thing I have a problem with right now is that Roman Reigns is just going to kind of, I don't know what he's going to do, because even in their match tonight, even though they had a good match of Reigns and Rollins, it kind of just seems like Reigns and Rollins are like there's not as much animosity between them. I don't know if it's because of booking or the fact that Roman Reigns has been gone, but it just seems like they got stuck in a match together and they happen to put on a good one. I don't know. I guess their feud kind of died when Roman Reigns got out, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm all for Daniel Bryan going up against Seth Rollins, and I'm all for Reigns.
Like, don't get me wrong. Bryan and Lesnar would be interesting, but just for me personally, looking at it long term, like, he's already a star. We need new stars. We need it so that way every single year we have like 5 or 6 guys in the main event instead of like 1, 2, 3 just for someone during the summertime. Because WrestleMania is the place where stars are made. It's not SummerSlam. It's not Survivor Series. You crown people at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I had a notion in my head that I was just like, I don't know how I worked it. I don't remember initially, but it was just like, the way I had worked it is like Reigns wins, the Rumble. Seth has Money in the Bank, and somehow Ambrose gets mixed in, and they just get that whole Shield blow-off main event for the title at Mania, and I thought that'd be cool. I don't remember how I worked it, but I think in my head Elimination Chamber was a thing, and unfortunately it's not happening this year, so that's, we'll see what happens with this whole Fastlane pay-per-view. That was an interesting little tidbit I learned yesterday. We already covered Miz and the Ascension. So after that, we got the Cutting Edge Peep Show. It's Seth. It's not Seth. It's Seth Rollins was the guest, and he called out earlier. He called out Cena and Brock Lesnar to come out to toast to Big Show beating up Roman Reigns, and that all dissolved into Seth threatening to paralyze Edge unless Cena brought back the Authority. And this was Chase's favorite segment of Monday Night Raw ever, and it's his number one segment of the year.
Nope, it was one of the worst segments of the year. It sucked.
Okay, so Seth threatens Edge's neck. He's gonna curb stomp him on the briefcase while Big Show's holding. He called out the Big Show, which I thought was really weird and random. How I knew something janky was gonna happen. I was like, why did he call it the Big Show? He didn't mention anything about the Big Show. When did they become such tight friends? I don't watch SmackDown, so if that's when it happened, I don't care. And he threatens Cena. Cena, like always, comes out late for the save. But he did eventually come out. Seth threatens Cena. Cena brings back the Authority. And Chase was banking on his good boy Randy Orton coming out for the save, but that did not happen until after Raw was over.
This was just one of the most dumbest segments I've ever seen in my life. Like, this segment added to the list of many reasons why I hate Edge, because if Edge's dumbass wasn't on the line here, we wouldn't have to bring back the Authority. And also, Edge tonight booked The Miz down, and The Miz, the MVPs of the WWE right now, in this stupid match with the dumbass Ascension that no one gave a shit about. And now you do this. You pretty much made Survivor Series 2014 the most useless pay-per-view of all time. That's what you did with this segment right here. The only thing Survivor Series 2014 is going to be known as is pretty much the pay-per-view Sting finally showed up to the WWE. That's pretty much it. Yeah. It's still a useless pay-per-view. Dolph Ziggler being the sole survivor and getting rid of the Authority, it's such a great moment, wasted. It's all wasted. It's all meant for nothing. The Authority is back, and we're getting the same old shit. And, it's fitting that the WWE would end the shitty year with such a shitty moment. Yeah, let's bring back the Authority. Why? Who gives a fuck about these goons? I'm tired of it. Yeah. We're going to kick off 2015. It's a new year with the same shit. Triple H and Stephanie cutting an over dramatic promo like, hey, we're back. Fucking Rollins, you did for me. It's like, fuck off.
There is
seriously, like, what they did here was they were trying to swerve us, because everyone and their mothers pretty much knew Randy was coming back. Everyone was talking about on Twitter, come on, Randy, get out there already, get out there. And we've been cock-teased with this Randy Orton return. I mean, seriously, so many times this year, everyone's like, oh, Randy's going to come out, and he didn't come out. He didn't come out in Survivor Series, he didn't come out in TLC. You think this is the time, let's have Randy Orton come out and be the hero and save the day. Keep it simple, end Raw off of the year on a high note. I mean, you just had Daniel Bryan come out and just say he's back in the Rumble. Now let's bring back Randy Orton. Let's make him a threat inside the Royal Rumble too. Let's just end Raw on a high note to end the year. But instead you ended in such a shitty way. Like, it was like the pitcher was on the mound and he threw a curveball. But instead of it hitting the stripe, he threw that curveball out to the stands, outside of the arena. And now that pitcher is no longer even in the minor leagues. This dude got freaking taken out of everything in baseball. Now he's working at Subway making our sandwiches. That's what they did with this ending. It was a terrible swerve. Like, that was just the most useless way to end this whole, Cena needs to bring back the Authority. Like, you guys couldn't even, like, expand this until WrestleMania or something. Y'all had to blow your load on it now.
Tell us how you really feel, Chase. I thought the segment was dumb, and it's like, I'm the kind of guy where it's like, all right, I specialize in, or at least I claim to specialize in crisis management. So I'm thinking of ways they could make this matter the whole bringing the Authority back, one, in general, and two, as soon as they did. And the only thing I can come up with, in my infinite knowledge, is that Dolph Ziggler's like, what was all my sacrifice for, and goes on a feud with Cena and just beats him down week in and week out, and that will never happen. Be great if it did, but it's not gonna. So there was literally no point to bringing the Authority back. There was literally no point to having the Authority leave, because you didn't put Dolph Ziggler over the way everyone is, or a lot of people are claiming they did, because he's just going to go back to doing the exact same thing he did after he cashed in Money in the Bank the night after WrestleMania. This is the night after WrestleMania Part 2 for Dolph Ziggler. It's like, oh, he accomplished something great. Too bad it didn't matter. And the only thing I see in my mind that is guaranteed is that Brock Lesnar is definitely losing at the Rumble. That's that.
Oh no, I wouldn't say that.
I would, but I mean,
No.
my thing is, I do want to hear your point of view. My thing is like, what, like it's he. I think it's mostly just because I want Brock to lose. I don't want Cena to have the title at all, but if it's gonna push, a new star, I'd rather have Roman Reigns beat Cena than beat Brock when there's no steam behind him because he hasn't been around for 2 months. But I don't know, man. It's like the Authority coming back like throws a monkey wrench in everything, and it makes it super annoying. And I don't care at all. I don't care about the Authority. I never liked the corporation. I don't like the Authority. The only people I've liked to be like a coalition of, semi-authority was like JBL's cabinet. Was like the only thing I ever liked like this. Like I don't like. I never like when their boss storylines, unless it's Stone Cold versus or DX, Stone Cold versus Vince, or DX versus Vince and Shane. Like, this is the only time I like those things. This is just.
Yeah, I don't think Cena's going to win because, like, you want Brock Lesnar to be champion at Mania. Mm-hmm. I mean, you want to get your big return on the investment that you made of having Lesnar and the streak. And, like, Cena, like, him being the champion, it would make more sense for him to finally pass the torch. But it's like, look, you could use Cena somewhere else. I mean, if Triple H can't get Sting, you can do Triple H and Cena again, where Cena's the hero once and for all, and he has the authority at WrestleMania. Or you have it where, Cena and Ambrose have to wrestle a match, for some dumb dick reason. So, yeah, I don't think Cena's winning at the Rumble. At first, I thought he was for sure, but just thinking about it more, I don't think it's happening.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, it could go either way. It's 50-50, but this like whole Authority coming back thing throws like a pointless monkey wrench into it, an even more pointless like thing. What is the Authority gonna do now? Like, what, they have nothing to do other than to be kicked out again, and once again, like you said, for Cena to be the ultimate hero, which is once again, screw you, Dolph Ziggler moment of the year. So they're already looking. They're either planning to screw Dolph in the future of like, hey, oh yeah, he beat the Authority, but it doesn't matter because Cena had ultimate power at the end of it, and he eliminated Authority for good. So that's a slap in the face to anyone who's like a Dolph Ziggler fan who keeps thinking he's gonna have his moment.
That's why I told people. Remember last time we did the podcast, I said don't get too hyped up about Ziggler.
Yeah,
don't mean shit with him. Like they never get behind the dude. That's just the bottom line. They never get behind Dolph Ziggler. It's a shame. He's a good worker, but the company never gets behind him. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think Cena, he's gonna keep the belt. Probably not keep the belt. He's gonna float around. Like, they definitely have something planned for him at Mania where he's going to become the hero of the world. Whether that's him beating Rusev, him beating Triple H, or him, facing Dean Ambrose for whatever dumb dick reason, he's going to be doing something big. We all know that because
what he needs to be doing is losing at Mania to Bray Wyatt just to give Bray his win back, and I mean like badly.
You don't want to do Bray Wyatt. You already did that. Like, why would you want?
Oh yeah, you don't want to. You don't want to do it.
Really that good where you want to see it 2 years?
No, it's just me wanting Bray to win. I don't want to see it, but it's like I just want Cena to put someone over on a big stage in a way that matters. I don't want him just hopping in the ring with somebody. I don't want him being the hero because I'm sick of seeing him be the hero, and I definitely don't want him with the notion of being with some other young talent like Ambrose and just belittling them on the way towards Mania and then, superseding his way through Mania. So I just would I rather see a rerun or something new, some fresh new hell, Huh?
But you're going to see a rerun anyway. You just explained it. So why would you want to see Cena and Wyatt again? Why even put over Bray Wyatt at this point? Is he even that great of an option to put over?
You're right. But I mean, like the whole Wyatt thing was
I'm just saying, man. Like it's like Cena will do something else, whether we like it or not. He's going to be glorified. He's the number one dude for a reason, and they need to glorify him because, like, you know, you don't have Rock this year. You don't know what Batista's doing and stuff like that. Like, really, like the matches that you have set up, like for me at least, it's like Reigns versus Lesnar, Bryan versus Rollins, and then you have it where pretty much you set up other matches. Like Cena's going to be doing something to glorify himself. It's just the bottom line. I know we're all sick of it, but hey, at least he ain't in the title picture, which is good. And at least maybe that's a huge maybe, but at least maybe he could help someone get over.
Yeah.
It's a huge maybe because that means just facing John Cena's not good enough. You have to beat the motherfucker. So,
which is hard. Yeah. Which that's when you turn that maybe into a possibly by saying you have to beat Cena. Like, it's just like it. You know, the way this thing ended, and it's just like, you know, I get the feeling it's gonna be another year of mediocrity from WWE. Like, even this road to WrestleMania, I have no interest in because there's nothing. I'm not invested in anything anymore in WWE. Like, there's just nothing for me to be invested in except for, you know, Seth Rollins and a little bit of Roman Reigns. But they've managed to kill my investment into Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. I don't care about Brock Lesnar. Definitely don't care about John Cena. I don't care about the Authority. Sting is cool, but we don't know what he's going to do. There is no more streak for you to get invested in. So it's just like, what are they going to do to get me invested on this road to WrestleMania? Currently, the thing I'm most invested in is my own set of videos I'm planning for the road to WrestleMania. That's more interesting because I'm chronicling some things of the past, kind of. I'm doing like top 10 list for that, or at least I'm planning to do top 10 list for that. So it's like, there's no investment, and tonight was a solidification of that. It was just like, I have no investment. The Authority's back. I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, this Raw, for the most part, was kind of decently entertaining. It was just filled with stupid stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like, at least the entertainment value for this Raw was at least up there. But it was just like, why would you do something so stupid? So that's like my closing thoughts on this episode of Raw.
Yeah, it was a decent Raw with a bad ending that drops it down overall. Like, it's just like, you know, the matches were okay, you know, but at the end of the day, the ending just really kills it, and that's what brings the score down. And that's the thing that WWE is famous for. It's like, you get one or two good things, and then you end on a sour note. But, you know, nevertheless, we'll see what happens on the first Raw of the year next week. So far, the only match we've got announced is Ambrose versus Bray, which is not a way to get me excited about next week's Raw, or the first Raw of the year. We'll see what happens at Rumble. Until then, join us next week when we bring you another podcast, another Raw review.
Yep, it's a new year, so let's hope that we can be a little bit more positive in the new year.
Yep, everyone, till then, have a good New Year's, and be safe, be merry. Cockfist for the win, I guess.
This baby. Garbage man.
Oh, thank God, no garbage man. All right, we're done.
That was beautiful. I loved it.
Beautiful thing. That's.
That's why I also like this episode of Raw. There was no the bunny, no garbage man, and like there was a bunch of stupid things, but not a lot of stupid things that pissed me off.
Oh, yeah, that's a good way to end Raw. That's the bright spot. Is there was no garbage man, no bunny. Happy New Year's, everybody.
No and shit like that.
All right. To everyone who's watching or listening, peace. Happy New Year.